Ladies and gentlemen, dropshipping is dying. It's not because there's no more new products to sell or there's more competition. It's due to a stagnation of new ideas and strategies that come from the top dropshippers, including myself. The same ideas are being regurgitated and the same videos are being made year after year. The dropshipping challenges, the top products to sell, it's all the same. There's just a lack of innovation and new strategies. And I just believe this is solely because of people thinking they know everything, including myself, thinking that I know everything about dropshipping. And this is leading to a lot of people failing because they're frankly executing strategies that either worked back in 2018 or looking for quick fixes to solve the real deep fundamental issues of you not having the skills yet to actually see success by testing out these black hat ad strategies, these pixel manipulations. It's all a bunch of BS and it's just shiny object syndrome. You should be putting your time into the skills. And today, I want to teach you what really delivers e-commerce success. Now let's talk about ads. When it comes to testing dropshipping products, what most people end up doing is they make really crappy repurposed ads. It's fast, it's affordable, but you can't scale with that content and it's morally wrong to do. Let's be honest. I really do believe when you make your ads, you should feel proud. It should be custom. It should be unique. Now, I believe the main reason why people don't do custom content is because they have the perception that it costs a lot of money. And depending on how you do it, yes, it will cost you a lot of money. If you use Billo, if you use most video ad services where you send the product to an influencer and you get one ad back for $70, that's a terrible model. And in a lot of cases, that ad you get back is trash because you're working with low quality content creators. However, instead of paying $70 for one ad from Billo or whatever video ad service, you can get 15 UGC ads made for $100. Now you're probably saying that sounds too good to be true, but all you have to do is focus on getting raw footage from content creators. If you go onto Twitter or TikTok, what most of the mid to higher tier content creators charge is $100 per video. However, that includes stuff like editing, and in most cases, content creators suck at editing. They should not be handling that. That should be a separate department where you have an editor or you edit the clips they give you. So when you are doing briefs to an influencer, you send the product out to them, you should tell them, hey, all I want you to do is film 3 hooks, 2 problems, basically just break down the ad and give them multiple lines for each section of an ad. Therefore, you can take the hooks, the problems, the testimonials, combine them together in different ways so that you have 10 to 15 unique ads for the cost of only $100. This is so much more affordable and it leads to a lot more content that you can test and scale with initially when you have a product that's getting you traction. And this will lead to much better results. It's an absolute no-brainer and you can bump up your budget to $100 to $200 to get this content filmed. Just the raw footage is all you need. And if you have the proper editing skills, which I have a whole video about how to edit TikTok ads, you can make amazing content for testing. And really, when I start testing a dropshipping product, I like to have at least 5 ads initially, and then you're gonna have to put in at least 2 to 3 new creatives every single week. But here's the thing. When you have only one ad made from Billo and it's already been edited, it has music and text on it, you can't repurpose that. But if you do it with this model, you can repurpose. You can put one hook with another problem. You can look at the data and you can see that one hook is outperforming another hook. So, all right, let's just make new ads with just that one hook that's killing it. And let's mix up the body of the ad, the problem, the USPs, the demos. This is where it gets really exciting because it's cost affordable and you have so much more control over the variations in your ads. Now, a brand that's doing a great job of this is Space Goods. Whenever they send their product out to an influencer, they're always having them film multiple hooks, multiple benefits, multiple everything. And you can see this when you go into their ad library. There'll be slight tweaks with the same content creator. So we got this hook, why I replaced coffee with this mushroom blend, and they have a bunch of different hooks they love to try out. So we see this ad right here. Okay, so more money. So basically saving money and get a productive day. So many unique things. Now, other things that you can do with your ads, because in most cases, when you're selling a dropshipping product or any e-commerce product, you're gonna have 3 to 5 main reasons why someone should buy compared to buying an alternative product to solve that problem. So in most cases, your job is to illustrate that benefit in a unique way in each one of your ads. So maybe one of the major benefits of your product is that you can lose weight. Well, you can say lose weight in a variety of different ways. You can say I lose 5 pounds within a certain time amount. You can say lose 1 size off your pants. There's so many different ways of saying it, and you don't know which way of saying it is actually going to resonate with your audience. And a great example of this is with this projector right here. When I saw this, I was just basically doing ad inspo, and I looked at this ad right here that says, hey, you don't have a TV in your room? Well, you can use this projector to watch TV shows, which I thought was pretty interesting. But what they did in another ad, which I thought was really, really smart, is that they had an ad that talked about how you can play video games on it. And that's the exact same benefit. It's you can replace a TV to watch movies, but then they had an ad that talked about video games. And as the nerd I am, I instantly bought this thing. I paid $50. I thought it was a great ad. It sold me. But it's so interesting to see how if you say a specific benefit one way, it'll resonate with some people. And if you say the benefit in another way, which in this instance, instead of movies, you can play video games, it can get people to buy. Now, real quick, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to like and subscribe because that tells the YouTube algorithm this video was beneficial for you. Now, as an e-commerce brand, when you work with content creators, they're not marketers. They are paid to take amazing product shots with your product, have great lighting, and say whatever lines and benefits that you know will sell your target audience in an authentic way. So if you're just giving them basic briefs, and this is how I used to brief creators, I would say, hey, here's some benefits about the product. Here's some angles I want you to think about when you make the ads, blah, 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 some required actions. This is as basic as it gets. And I realized when we were implementing this, it didn't work out very well. So I decided to change the way we do our briefs to be a little more detailed and tell our creators shot for shot what we need of the product and line for line what we need them to say. And this has resulted in our ads 10xing in quality, in my opinion. I think they're so much better where you have this storyboard where we say, okay, in this line, here's why I stopped buying regular tights. Talk to the camera directly while holding the pair of pants. Make it so dummy proof that the content creator cannot possibly mess it up. The more detail you give them, the better, because they're just not marketers. And again, this is how you do the modular content. You just give them the individual hooks, you tell them what the shots are, and then you are good to go. Now, if you want to do product research at a high level, then you shouldn't be doing your own product research. You should have a team in place where you are giving them the proper training, the proper tools, and the proper guidance on what type of products you like, because there will be certain types of products you like in certain niches, and there will be certain niches that you try to avoid. For me, I don't like the baby niche. I haven't seen any success. Security as well. But then there's going to be certain niches where you tell your researchers to find products in, like jewelry. But obviously training a team, paying them, all that stuff can be quite difficult. So what I recommend for keeping track of product researchers is using Hubstaff. Now, it's up to you to determine what you actually want your product researcher to do once they've found a product in terms of putting in the prices, suppliers, all that stuff. Now, we personally ask our product researchers to find an AliExpress link because this is what our supplier agent uses to give us a quote on that product, because we don't actually use AliExpress. Then we want the ad link, Amazon link, so that we can send that product out to an influencer. And yep, it's pretty simple. Once we approve a product, we like to give a bonus to that researcher. We usually give them $10 to $20 as a bonus so that they're incentivized to find better products and not just find a lot of products. Now, after a product researcher gives you a product, how do you analyze it and determine if this is a product that you want to sell? Well, for me personally, I always go to the Amazon link of that product and I see what are the sales numbers. Now, I use Jungle Scout. It's about $70 a month. Awesome tool. I think it's great for analyzing if this product is right now selling a lot of units. Now, with this product, 167, you times it by 68. That's, I think, a little under 10 grand, which isn't great. So personally, you can actually do a search of the major keywords and see, okay, are similar products of this niche selling very well? Because then maybe it's just because the marketing of this product isn't been out there. So I don't get super deterred if there's a lot of other people selling and making money. So let's say for this instance, you click on Jungle Scout right here, and if it's at least, I would say 50 to 100 grand a month, if there was a seller making that much money, I would be interested in selling that product. Now, there's obviously other things like margins. I like to get at least 60% gross margin on my products. There's a lot of other things like having a margin of at least $25. But with Jungle Scout, a great tool about it is it can let you know what the average price people are selling this type of product for. So you can come up with the price for your Shopify store. So you can do $43, $39, $49. That's the average. And as we can see right here, if we go to monthly revenue, sort it by top, we can see that this makeup bag is got 135,000 in monthly sales, 95, 86. So clearly there's a demand for this type of product. So I would say this is something I'd be interested in selling. It's got a good margin as well. So if I get a good quote from my supplier, this is something that I would definitely be interested in selling. And I know in dropshipping, everyone preaches about how the product needs to have wow factor, needs to be cool. It's got to have certain margins. And while I do agree that a product needs to have certain margins if you're going to scale with paid advertising, you can't just sell a product for $5, $10 margins. It's just not going to work at scale. I try to focus on metrics that are less biased. I like to just look at the hard facts of, is this product making sales right now? So I really do like Jungle Scout, like I said, to analyze monthly revenue data. If we're seeing that a lot of similar products are making sales, clearly there's a demand for that product, and that's all you're trying to gauge. Is there a demand for the product? Yes, awesome. Is the margins there? Awesome. I think that's really the main metrics that you need. And obviously there's other things like, does the product work? Are the reviews good? Stuff like that. But because wow factor is so ambiguous, I just don't rely on it anymore. I like to look at the hard numbers. Now, if you don't have the time to build your own content creation team, or edit your own ads, then you can work with a done-for-you agency that finds you winning products, edits those ads, sources creators, and also builds websites for you and manages your ads on TikTok and Facebook, which is what my agency Blue Ocean Digital has done. And we have scaled over 6 new clients in the past month alone from $0 to $1,000 a day. So if you are interested in working with my team that's trained by me and all have years of experience with e-commerce, then all you have to do is book a call down below and we'll see if we're the right fit to work with you. Now, when it comes to your dropshipping product page, there are so many unique ways that you can format your product page in different templates, different styles, different sections to make it stand out and just conduct split tests to see if you can beat your current landing page. And that is your job as a dropshipper or e-commerce brand owner. You are consistently trying to see, can I beat my control? Can I beat my current conversion rate? And that might be just trying a little bit of a split test, like changing the add to cart button, changing the offers, typically the best way of doing this. So instead of $21.99, I might try $19.99. I might do buy one, get one free, depending on margins, but that's typically the best thing you want to change around is the above the fold section. So it could be your first image. It could be getting rid of the quantity selector, which is a good split test definitely to try. And then obviously when you go down, how you format your description. I like to keep it short and simple. I've noticed that is the big trend in e-commerce, keeping things incredibly simple and focusing more on the graphics and GIFs that sell your products. And what I would recommend when you are testing dropshipping products is to have one main formula for your websites, the way that you hold your descriptions, the way you format your different sections, have your reviews and making sure they're very detailed. I like to keep mine, as you can see, very, very detailed. But after you do that, I look at the data. So after I test the product for a few days, I like to see what is my conversion rate at. And typically if my conversion rate is lower than 1%, I switch out the theme completely. I will try a different framework, and that's where things can get really fun. But if I'm above a 1% conversion rate, that's usually when I say, okay, I don't think the theme is necessarily at fault. I think I just need to split test things like the offer. And there's a variety of other things you can split test, like your font, the font size, the headline of your description, the logo, placement of buttons. I mean, again, take a screenshot of this. There are so many different things you can split test just on your product page. Now, what big e-commerce brands do when they are split testing their landing page to try to increase conversion rates is trying all types of different frameworks. And by frameworks, I know what most people are used to is this type of product page. You got your price, you got your product type, add to cart, then you got a description. But there's all types of different product pages like listicles, like advertorials. And just to show an example, here's an advertorial right here for Barks Buddy, how this new age device finally got my dog to behave. Now, this is more like an article and it's disguised as an ad where really it's just a bunch of selling points. It's more of a story to emotionally connect your product as the solution to whatever problem it's solving. And then boom, at the end, oh, yes, I want 50% off. There we go. We got our offer. So it's a 2-step funnel. And there's a bunch of other ways you can do this, like with Boom by Cindy Joseph, which is an 8-figure beauty brand. And as you can see, this is just a typical 7 makeup tips for glasses wearers. It's just a normal article blog. But then when you go and actually read it, counterbalance your frames. This is tip number 1. And how do you do that? Oh, you buy our product. All right, number 2, avoid heavy eyeliner. And guess what? Buy this product. Separate your lashes. Okay, buy our product to do that. Every single line in here is buy our product. It's just disguised in a way that's, all right, here's a benefit. This is just a new way of selling that big brands try all the time. You can see you got the shop now right here so you can buy this product, go to their product page for it. So they could have sent traffic to this product page, but they're trying the listicle and it's working better for them. So you got to try different things because it depends on the awareness of your audience. Sometimes they need a little bit more selling. So sometimes listicles are the way to go. And then you got a brand like Obvi that tests all these different types. They got advertorials, they got more sales type of direct response product pages like this one right here. This is very, very direct responsive. We got all their benefits right here. We got some good offers. We got more benefits. This is a different variation of their product page. And this is a lot more salesy, a lot more reviews. This feels like a sales funnel instead of a typical Shopify website. And you have to split test. You have to see what works better for you. But I would really only recommend doing this once you have some sort of momentum and you're actually making at least 10 to 20 sales a day. So it's got to be a product that you're willing to invest the extra time into. If it's just something that's made 0 sales and you're like, all right, well, let me try to test it again by doing a listicle, I would say hold off on that. I would say definitely tweak your ads a little bit, probably just tweak your current website template with a new offer, new description format, and see if it converts. Because if it doesn't, just move on. Now, if you want to see how I create my product pages, then I have a video right here that explains that exact process. Now, when it comes to media buying for dropshipping brands, obviously every platform has its different nuances and strategies, but I would say the commonalities between most of them is keeping things simple. Most people like to overcomplicate media buying with day parting, with surf scaling, and when you really think about it, and after studying the best agency and brands out there, they give their ads time. Usually 2 to 3 days to optimize. And a good fact is that with Apple, most people have opted out of being tracked, but Apple releases the purchase data 3 days after someone has purchased. So how can you kill a product after a day or two when you haven't even gotten all the data yet. You don't have all the information necessary to make a decision. But with dropshipping, people kill things so fast. They're so trigger happy, and it's not a good way of doing media buying. You have to give things time. You have to give platforms time. So that's one of the biggest commonalities. And there's other things besides being more patient. You also have to keep things simple with your campaign structure. A lot of people like to do lookalikes and a new campaign for every new thing that they're trying out. But then when you study what the biggest agencies do when they work with huge e-commerce brands, they like to keep things simple for organization purposes. So what most agencies do is they'd like to have 3 campaigns. They'll have one, which is a scaling campaign. So you have your best audiences that are already proven to convert, and you have your best ads inside of that. Then you have another campaign, which is more of a sandbox. That's where you have your best audiences and maybe new audiences you want to try out as well. And you put in new creatives that you want to test. So in this new sandbox campaign, you're testing ads, and it's like the minor leagues. So if an ad is doing well in the sandbox campaign, it can graduate into the scaling campaign. And that scaling campaign might be lookalikes that you have stacked together, interests that you have stacked together. It might be only broad audiences. Who knows? Different types of targeting work for different types of products and brands. So you have to try out a lot of different things. And then the third campaign they like to have is retargeting, just keeping everything in retargeting that you're doing. And obviously you can try out your new retargeting ads inside of that sandbox campaign, but just keep things simple. Don't have a million campaigns. It's not necessary. And when you are advertising on Facebook and TikTok, after doing it for a while, I would really recommend using agency accounts. It saves so much time and headaches. With TikTok specifically, you're going to have so many spending issues on normal accounts that is a pain in the butt. So I would recommend getting an agency account plug. You can find them on Discord, Facebook groups. If you just ask around, you will find someone that is offering these agency accounts. Typically what they do is they do a percent of ad spend. So if you spend $1,000, they'll take 2%, 3%. So again, like $20, $30 a month to have these accounts, which is great because you avoid spending issues. You can target all types of countries. So if you're in the United States, you can target Canada, Australia, and it doesn't matter where you're from. You can target all the countries. But with a normal TikTok account, you can mainly only target your country you're from. And then some people say that CPMs and CPCs are lower on agency accounts. I've kind of seen that, but I don't think I have anything statistically significant yet to back that up. And then on Facebook, obviously, yes, you need agency accounts. There are so many instances, and you probably tried running ads on your mother's Facebook account, your dad's, your sister's. I have gotten all of my family members' ad accounts banned because it's just unpredictable. They ban you for no reason. So agency accounts are an absolute must when you're doing Facebook nowadays. You have to have that because it will limit your chances of being banned. You usually don't have as much ad account spending limits, and again, people do theorize that your ad performance is usually better because your CPMs are lower on these agency accounts. And it's just nice to have a rep that you can talk to from Facebook whenever you're getting a new ad approved, or you just want to get feedback as to if this ad that you're about to run is compliant. Now, after studying advanced media buyers, a lot of them tend to put a lot of focus on soft and hard metrics and doing custom metrics as well for really breaking down and explaining why an ad is succeeding, a campaign is succeeding, et cetera, et cetera. So a few of those metrics that they like to use for creative success is hook rate and hold rate. And these are custom metrics. And if you don't know how to do a custom metric in Facebook, you just click create custom metric when you're in your columns. And for this, let's just label it hook rate. Super duper simple. It is, I believe, 3-second video plays divided by impressions. So you're going to get a percent that's usually between 10 to 60%. So if your number is crazy and you want this as a percentage, you just put this in here. You do impressions like this, divided by 3-second video plays, and then you click create metric. And once you log that in, I can see my hook rate is 17% on some ads, it's 19% on others, and I would say a good baseline is around 20 to 25%. If you can get above 30%, I would say that's pretty solid. 40%, it's absolutely goated. But that's how you can tell if the first 3 seconds of your ad are getting people's attention. And if they're not, clearly you need to swap out the hook. And then with hold rate, you typically want your hold rate to be above 10%. And if it is above 10%, that's amazing. 5% is pretty good as well. If it's below 5%, you typically have a problem with the rest of your ad. As you can see right here, I have a hold rate of 24%, 28%. So again, really, really solid numbers on my hold rate, but I can tell based on this, my hook, if it was really tweaked around, would be an insane ad. And if you want to see how I analyze and scale my TikTok ads, you can click on this video right here. And the final thing to be an advanced dropshipper is obviously you can't use AliExpress. There is no excuse in 2022 to ever use AliExpress. There are so many alternatives. CJ Dropshipping and eProlo have most products on AliExpress. In fact, you can post sourcing requests on there to get suppliers that find your product and give you 7 to 15 days shipping. So you have no excuse there. And then once you're scaling a product, when you are using CJ Dropshipping Dropshipping, ePro, whatever, is you contact a 3PL or a sourcing agent. Personally, I like to use sourcing agents. I think they're amazing. So whenever I find a product I want to sell, I just find an AliExpress link, I give it to my sourcing agent, and they find that product and quote it for me along with giving me the shipping times. And with most cases, it's going to be 7 to 15 days. It's going to be super fast, and they'll find it cheaper than AliExpress. So again, you just need to get yourself out there, go into Discord groups, go into Facebook groups, ask people for their suppliers, and they will gladly give you that information. You just need to ask around and be in the right groups. And what I would recommend doing is whenever you are scaling a product, find multiple sourcing agents so you can get quotes from multiple. So you might have an ideal price where you're selling a product and it could be this phone case and it's costing you $8, and you tell these different sourcing agents, hey, if you can get this for me for $5, I will work for you. Like, you give them a specific price range. They need to know, because sometimes they will try to make margin off of you. They will overcharge you because they're like, hey, I mean, this guy's going to work with me regardless. But if you give them a specific range, a lot of times they'll give you a good price.